Welcome in, everybody. Tonight, first of all, I'll introduce myself. I am Drew's Paranormal Vlog. And tonight we do have Uncle Danny with us, guys. He is in the dungeon, I think, right now. He is here somewhere, but I think because his sound's off, he's not on screen. So welcome in, everybody. I do... Wait, no, see, in fact, Uncle Danny, why are you not on screen? Wait to see. Welcome in, everybody. Oh, there he's here now. Welcome in, guys. Tonight, it was actually today, I was sitting and I was doing my tarot card of the day. And after it, I got thinking about the journey itself. And I started to go down a path in my own head. And I decided to share it with you guys. So when I put the live stream up earlier on, Uncle Danny mailed me and asked if he could come up. So here we are, guys. So let's just welcome everybody in. So thank you anyway, Uncle Danny, for joining me tonight. It's always a pleasure, and I've missed us being together.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I'm gonna try to get on a few people's show every now and then, yours and Pop's and Christina's, and just do one here and there, because it's good, and I like to have the community all, doing stuff together. So,
Definitely.
how's everybody?
Welcome everybody in. Welcome in, everybody. Let's go back to the top of the line and see who is all here. If my computer will let me go up. So, guys, there we go. Welcome in, PWI, my beautiful sister Sherry. Oh, yeah, check out Sherry's channel, guys. I just noticed it as I was going to go live, sis, about the dragon. She's got, is it a dragon meditation or a dragon video? Definitely check it out, though. I'll be checking it out after this. Welcome in, Uncle Danny, of course. Welcome in, Mystical Love and Light. I was going to say it's Mystical Moonlight, which is myself. Guys, that's why I'm changing my name back to Drew's Paranormal Vlog. There only is one Mystical. Welcome in, Diane. Welcome in, Kerry. Welcome in, everybody. So welcome in, everybody. It's nice to see you all. Welcome in, Gemma. Yeah, so Uncle Danny will be back, guys. His phone's maybe wrong or something. Yeah, tonight I want to talk about what the journey actually is, okay? So for a lot of us in this spiritual field, this spiritual awakening that we've all had, let's say, let's start at that. So some of us, and I'm going to speak about my journey, okay? Some of us, we've just travelled along in our journey, our daily path, being brought up, then get to our teenage years, maybe been a bit wild, settling down, having a bit of a family, just doing the daily grind, as they say. When I was doing all that, I was in Lanark. I was in New Lanark specifically. So away back then, wait, I stop my alarm now. Away back then, guys, I was on a small street. It's called New Lanark. It's called Braxfield Terrace. And if you look at New Lanark, and a lot of you, if I have showed you on when I'm there, it's actually a street that stays above New Lanark. So I brought my daughter up there. And the partner I was with at the time, I had been with him. We were together I was 14 and he was 15 years of age. And when I fell pregnant at 16 and I had Kerry and then my own house by 17 years of age. So through just bringing Kerry up and coming to Lismahago once a week to see my mum and dad and things, I was really myself. It felt as if, now looking back on it, that the minute we got our own house and we moved into that street, I was on my own because I was then in the house for him to come to whenever he needed me. Kerry was there for whenever he needed to, like a baby, wanted to play the family. But he also had access to all his friends and all of his family and things. I mean, it's not as, and I had nobody, guys. For years and years, I just kept myself to myself and went up the street doing my messages and things, bringing down what we needed, and really essentially staying in that street, doing my own thing. And it wasn't until I think about 3 or 4 years passed, maybe about 5 years passed, and one of Thomas's cousins their kid was starting the school at the same time as my daughter. So we got talking and we started to sit out in the street together and things. And through that, I kind of found myself a little bit. And then we fell out. We fell out because all, and I knew this was happening because I could hear it happening, but obviously he was kidding on that I couldn't hear these things and I was making up stories, but I could hear them upstairs arranging dates, arranging to meet, different things like that, guys. But I was the one that was going off my head, right? And I started to kind of believe that I was going off my head and that I wasn't a good person because I was making up all these lies in my head and splitting my own relationship up, if you like, with jealousy and bad mindedness. So I started to go out. I started to go out and to the pubs and to sitting out the back door with his family, essentially, but they became my friends, but they were his cousins. So I started finding my own friends and sitting out the back door, having a little bit of a drink with them, and all the kids would play and different things like that. So essentially, we were staying together as partners, but I had my own life and he kind of had his own life. So this went on for about, I went out when I got my house when I was 17. I do believe I must have been about, yeah, so we continued on like that until the millennium came. And the year as the millennium was coming, everybody was making their plans and things. So I always had a couple of best friends who were boys. And when I kind of split up with Thomas, he got the girl upstairs pregnant. And he said to me that he made her get rid of it because we were trying for a kid as well, but he made her get rid of it because it was for me. It was to save our relationship, okay? So he thought it was really to ease his conscience. But because I split up with him at the time, one of my best friends, who was a male, his name was John Paul, he told me that he always liked me, always loved me, and he was just waiting on a chance to be with me because he was Thomas's cousin. So I kind of gave it a go with him for a while. And it was great. It was a great relationship, brilliant, but it just wasn't for me. There's a lot of people butted their nose in, guys, because the two boys were family. Because I had essentially went out with Thomas's cousin and things, there was a bit of backlash on me for that. So I had all that to deal with. Meantime, I was letting Thomas see Kerry, so I was walking up halfway to a Lanark where he stayed, holding Kerry over and then coming back and then doing that to get her back again. So through that, I learned that he was now with this girl and that they were giving it a go and things like that. So New Year, the millennium came and went, and everybody with their celebrations and things. And then after it was it must have been the hype or something, I don't know. But after it, in that month of January, things went downhill so quick. It was crazy. Different things were going wrong, and people were pulling me up for things I had nothing to do with. There was a lot of things coming to me that I wasn't in control of. I think looking back, maybe I was in control a lot of it because of my drinking and things. Maybe that had a lot to do with it. But looking back, they were blaming me for a lot of things. It wasn't my fault, but I was the scapegoat. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That was okay because we were all fine. So I moved away back here to Les Mexico. I phoned my dad and I says, Dad, can you come for me? I really don't want to be here anymore. So I moved back to Les Mexico. I moved back here. And through time, Thomas came and started seeing Kerry here. And we eventually I got my house here, another house here through about a year. And I started to see him again type of thing because he was coming up to see Kerry. He would stay, he would help me with decorating and things like that, my new house. So I started to see him again. And then he broke the news to me that she was actually pregnant and this and that. So I said, right, that is it. I can't do this anymore. And I broke all ties. So if you wanted to see Kerry, you had to go through my mum and dad. So that all happened. And then I met my other partner who, at that point, I took in my cousin who was leaving an institution for having a nervous breakdown because he was a young offender. He broke into the bank down the street and the police got a hold of him. And essentially, they made an example of him, let's say, for breaking into the local bank. So he came out with in his prison. When he was in prison, he got a lot of, let's say, hit a lot by the guards and things. So I had a lot of mental health problems coming out of that. So I took him in after that. And then I knew the two of them were on drugs, but so the two of them sat and kind of done their own thing. And I was actually at a course at the time where I wasn't. I was working at my mum's factory at the time. I did all that. And it didn't kind of work out. I didn't like the getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, having to be out for 7, back in the house at 7 o'clock at night, in a factory all day long, putting cakes on and components on a cake. I hated it. So I ended up kind of walking away from that. But in that transaction between bringing my cousin Stephen into my home and seeing him well again, and they two using drugs, I was only ever a dope smoker, and at that point I only ever smoked weed. I did have an occasional drink and things, but I started, all my money was going to help them with their recovery, helping them get their drugs, helping them just be well, even if it meant I was doing without. So it got to a stage I thought to say, well, all my money's gone on this, I want to try it. And that was the worst mistake I ever did, guys. And the guy I was with at the time, Barry's name was, he's like, don't do it, please don't do it, don't do it. He did everything in his power, and I swear everything he did in his power, so I would not try drugs, wouldn't try it. But my cousin was there in the background, and he was, when Barry went to work, he would say, Andrea, do you really want to try it? I'll let you try it. And I'm like, yes. So that was the biggest mistake I did, guys. So I went down that Burley Road, as they say. Ended up, I lost my house. My mum took care of me. I lost my house. So all that happened. And then I was homeless in the woods, in the Knock House sign that I will show you all. I think I've showed a couple of these, but I'll show you again. So in there, I learned a lot of life lessons. Like, my dad wouldn't talk to him, and my mum wouldn't talk to him, and half of my family wouldn't talk to me. And guys, that was bad for me, because I've always had my family around me, especially my dad. I phoned my dad one time. I was in Newcastle. I'd ended up in Newcastle full of drink. And my best friend had moved down there, and she had came up to the Lanark one day at the weekend to see her mum, and she said, do you want to come back down for the weekend? And I was like, yeah, sure. But I'd ended up falling out with her, or something had happened, and ended up at the train station at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I phoned my dad. I says, Dad, do you want to come for me? And he's like, sure, where are you? And I says, Newcastle. He's like, you're in what? Newcastle? I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh. I says, I think I can get to Carlisle on the train if you want to pick me up at Carlisle. So that's what I did. So all of them falling out of me, guys, was really, really hard for me. My Aunt Sadie, she always spoke to me. She would take me in and let me get a bath and things, and let me kind of get my act together. So through all of that, and then I fell out with Barry because he was really abusive, guys. He put a tumbler in my face one New Year, and it broke right there. And I've got one wee scar. That was where he slashed me with a key. But I've got another wee scar underneath it, and that's where the tumbler landed. And I thought, no, I'm ugly enough. I am not walking about full of scars for you. So I phoned my dad to come and get me. We were at his dad's house in Motherwell. I phoned my dad to come and get me at Motherwell. I went back up to his house, took all my stuff out of his house, and went back to my mum and dad's. Then for a time getting my act together, I started to go into my big sister's house, which stayed down the street. And I've showed you across for her house. She had the oldest house in Lesmahago. So we started kind of gathering there at the weekends and things. And I knew Wally because he was one of Barry's friends, and they had been in the jail together and things. So they kind of knew each other. So through seeing him in the street, I knew him, and I'd got on the bus a couple of times going to different places, and I'd been in the bus, so I knew him. So when I was sitting at our Helen's window one night, and he walked past, and we had no cigarettes. So I chapped the window and I says, Wally, come here. So he came up to the house, and Nellie ended up kind of going to her bed and that, and Kerry was with us. Kerry was about 12, 13, I think she was. So we ended up walking her up the road, and then we went back to his house. He had Pecora and cigarettes and things, so I ended up, just had nowhere else to go anyway, so I went up the road with him, and we talked the full night long, and the different things. He had been homeless in London for like 9 years, and he told me a lot of stories about meeting famous people and going scoring drugs for them, and meeting the Oasis and things, the group, they met all them, and some of his friends used to have to go and get them their drugs. And I'll let Wally come on his channel one night and tell his story, guys. You would be amazed at the things he's done. So anyway, I met Wally, and from then on I wasn't homeless. He kind of took me in and says, stay here, I know what it's like. And so I kind of gradually built up my life again, and ended up, we went to tour, started being partnership, and I fell pregnant within about 8 weeks, I do believe, and I ended up losing that baby. So we buried that baby. That baby is in the cemetery, and I'll take you up to the grave one day. Through all of that, all those life lessons, and then we hit drugs again. I don't even know how it happened. Me and Tim kind of went down a bad path for a long time, just dabbling, and then I fell pregnant with Liam. So we, as a team, decided that we were going to give it a go. We got on the methadone program and got straight. Willie got a car, and he got a job. Willie always works anyway. So we did all that, and then we lost our house because the council and things wouldn't pay for it anymore because we were a partnership and he wasn't a single man. So we had to kind of get a house. So we got the big house at Wood Park. It was a big 5 apartment, and we were told that we would have it for life because I knew the people that owned it, and they just didn't want to see us homeless with Liam. So through about 6 years of being on drugs, off drugs, on drugs, off drugs, getting my life together, still being on the methadone program, I ended up they were going into our house, guys, and we weren't in, and there were things all moved around, and we got this slab thing, this thing to push posts in, and we went in the kitchen and it was gone, and I'm like, where did it go? And that's when we clicked that they had been coming in and out of our house all the time, at all times. So through all that, a lot of life lessons I learned, and then we lost the house to them, and I was in like a kind of mini breakdown for about a year. It was just, I couldn't find anywhere else to stay. I was thinking, oh no, we're homeless again. I've got Liam, and I can't go back to my mum and dad's, and a really, really hard time. So I fought hard for this house. I really fought for this house. So that's why that I always pay my rent first, guys, and I'll never put myself in that position again. But this is my point about the journey, okay? Everybody's journey is different. It'll also jump up and down. It'll go like this and it'll go like that. But the principles that you learn along the way, the lessons that you learn along the way, you will get to a stage that I am at now, where I can sit back and I can analyse it all. I can admit my mistakes. I can see where I went wrong, clearly see where I went wrong in a lot of it. But I can also see other people's mistakes, guys, and I can see characteristics in people now that I know to look for. I can also analyse a lot of things that's going on in a lot of people's lives. And I do believe that when I had my spiritual experience with Santa Mutter in my toilet, which opened me up a little, through a lot of the meditations and things I've done, and especially the one with Sister Sherry's that she did, the one I always listen to, this main one, and it's because it takes me to the Scottish Hills. I can walk through the Scottish Hills and Glens in this meditation, and I can feel like the energies around me. And I'll just let me give it a minute. So through the energies of our ancestors, let's say, I know now that I'm at a place I can help people. And I want you guys listening to sit and analyse your life. Don't go into it deeply if you don't want to, but sit and go through it all. See the ups and the downs. See what happened there. Analyse it. Analyse to see why that happened. Did you do something wrong? Was it just circumstance at the time? But try and see the lesson in it. Try and see the lesson in even just your daily life, guys, of things happening. I've got a lot of people that come in and out of my home that's still struggling. Through everything I've been through, and I still struggle. I still have to fight the demons, especially when it's in my life daily. I could go walk out right now and get it. A lot of things are in my life daily, guys, and I have to fight. But through all that, you'll find your power, and you'll find a place where you know your direction. And I kind of look at Uncle Dan and I might cry. But you'll find a place where you see your direction, and you can see the direction of other people that you can help. So tonight's live stream is about the message of the journey. Try and find what your purpose is. See where you can now help people, even if you're still struggling. There's always a lesson in it to help other people. So that's a bit about a little deeper story who I am. And a lot of my childhood was brought up with my mum and dad fighting all the time, guys, and I was always the one to separate them. I always separated them. I used to beat my mum up, my dad up, whoever it was at the time. I used to have to go hide the knives and things. Sometimes I would phone the police, other times I wouldn't. I'd sort it myself at a young age, or I'd go for other family members. I always had to stick up for my big sister at school because she got teased a lot because she had fits as a kid, so she walked with a limp. Lots of things, guys, but it builds you to who you are. So I am now, 52 this year I will be. So I want to be the person that helps anybody struggling. So if you guys know anybody, even if it's to do with drugs, just struggling in the daily life with confidence, anything really, and you think that maybe I could talk to them, even if it's just a quick call on Messenger, just to say, here, I've been there, I've done it. Definitely give them my Messenger, guys. And this is all separate from the YouTube stuff and everything. This is a personal level. If you think anything in my journey can help somebody else, give them my link, because I'll talk to them. So, saying all that, welcome to the live stream. I just wanted to get that out, guys. Thank you, everybody. I wasn't reading the link, the comments, or I would probably cry. So, guys, just be aware of your journey. It's my point. Be aware of your journey. Be aware of where you can help other people from what you've been through. Thank you, everybody.
There you go.
Yeah,
See?
photo things.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a couple
Your journey
questions
will
now.
always
So,
help somebody, Uncle Danny, won't it? I mean,
yeah,
sure.
yeah. If that's the thing, if you're willing to share your past or your journey or your trails and stuff, it's always going to resonate with somebody, right? And it gives someone hope and they'll go, oh wait, well if so and so can do it, then maybe I can do it, you know? Hey everybody, how's everyone going?
Yeah.
So
Welcome
anyway,
in,
through
everybody.
all
Welcome
that,
in, Luna.
so all of a sudden one day you decided I'm going to check into the spiritual realm. Is that what happened, or
I
what happened with
think
that?
because I always liked the ghost hunting and things, and as I've told you before, my mum always told us scary stories at the weekend, mostly to get us to go to bed, I think. So I always loved being scared, and I always loved the scary stories that she would tell us. And I think I can never remember half the stories, Uncle Danny, but I always remember the beginning of it. It was a dark and stormy night. 3 men sat by a fire. It was that way she told the story that I always loved. And I always loved to be scared. I don't know why, but being scared, like when we run up the stairs and things, my big brother would turn off the lights and things like that. But the initial scare was But then you would start to wonder if he was going to turn the lights off again when you went up the stairs. And then we had a great childhood because we got all the creepy films to start with, like your Poltergeist, your Amityville and things. We got to experience all of that firsthand in the 70s and 80s. So that all came out and it intrigued me. I just thought, and then I had my mum and dad and everybody around me saying, oh, ghosts are no real. And all through that, watching the films, watching the programs about paranormal. And then I think Billy was always interested, like all the little apps and things that ended up coming out. We tried the Ouija board app, him and I. It wasn't long before he died, actually, and it had said something about a dagger. And the night before that, Billy, something to do with a dagger in his drawer or something, had fell out. So we had related it to this Ouija board app that you know. So I
Mhm.
think when Billy died, and it was just so sudden, and the feelings of wanting ghost hunting around that had started falling, haunted finders, all that started following them, and started wanting to kind of ghost hunt myself just before he died. So it kind of all worked out in that little time frame. And then the mini little breakdown where I seen Santa Martin's things in the toilet, it just all worked around that moment. And then
So
I
then you
realised
got
this
to
is a thing.
you got to that point where you saw Santa and you're at the situation. So then you decided you're going to start doing the witchy stuff, right? What made you decide to do that? Like, why did you choose the witchy side? Like, what was it that
Yeah,
did that for?
I
Do
think
you know what?
when I started to ghost hunt and I wasn't connecting, I bought the recorder, I think it was first. Yeah, it was a recorder I brought first. And I thought, and I just assumed that the minute you turned it on, if there was a spirit around you, it would speak. I never thought any different through watching even the ghost hunting shows, because they don't ever tell you about raising your vibration, the protection. They don't tell you that in all the shows. So I just assumed the minute I bought it, it would work. So nothing worked, and I bought the spirit box. I think I bought a Ouija board next as well, and nothing would work. And I think I think I actually put it into Google first. How do you connect to ghosts or something? And then YouTube and things all popped up with different, um, I think it was like meditations and things to start with about lowering your vibration and things like that, about clearing your energies. And slowly but slowly, I started to follow people on YouTube. And then it turned out that there were witches, a lot of them. Some of them weren't. Some of them were just gurus and things like that, Mark Baleski and things that you liked crystals and things like that. So I started to follow people like that were either very spiritual or witches themselves. And then I realised through watching the witches and seeing things that they'd done that resonated with me a little, about the staring at the moon and talking to her, about the different things I used to do when I stayed in Lanark. Like I used to never want to leave Kerry, so I would always
Mhm.
back out the door, just kind of leaving my love with her type of thing. And through things like that, I realised that I was more spiritually connected than I ever realised. So just through
Mhm.
things like that, Uncle Danny, that I realised that the witches or the spiritualism, whatever way you want to put it, was really just the same thing as connecting to energies that you do ghost hunting, and you can learn to control that.
Mhm. There you go. So now that you've been on this path, how are you feeling?
Awakened,
Good. Yeah, that's a good answer.
happy,
Yeah.
connected, hopeful. I don't know, I feel a lot of emotions about my journey right now. I feel as if from when probably in the last 3 months that I've been more awakened than ever before. And I think it's because after that last outburst online I sat and I had a good think to myself and a good analysation of why I reacted like that. And I know why I done it now, but we won't go into that. But that after that, I reanalysed. I realised that I was putting my journey in the hands of somebody else. So now I'm focused in knowing that my journey is my own, and that other people can kind of come along in my journey with me, but I will never give my journey over to anybody else again.
Yeah. And that's like I was telling you, you know, you can't be part of any
Thank you, Lunar
if you
Sis.
can't
Thanks,
be
everybody.
yourself, if you can't be yourself, and join other people. So in other words, if I have a group, right? Like I used to have the old guard where we used to go out and help people and do these really bad places and stuff. And you know more. You've seen a lot of my history.
Yeah,
You know a lot of the jobs I did. Um,
yeah,
but
Uncle Dan.
with the old guards and stuff, each one of us, when you become part of a group, you cannot give away your part, right?
Yeah,
Like if you're part of a group, you've still got to be you. You still got to follow your own path. You still have to have your own beliefs. And this person has to have all theirs, and this person has to have all theirs. You can't,
yeah,
you know, dumb down something that you do to support the group, or the group can't dumb down to support you. You have to be who
yeah,
you are, you know. And if everybody in the
yeah,
group is who
definitely.
they are, it's a good group, right?
Yeah.
It's a good group
Mhm.
then because everyone has to do their own thing. That's just the
Hi,
way.
Evie.
That's the nature of it. You know, the nature of the beast
Yeah.
is to be who you are. You know, and that's the path. You know,
And it's
not
easy to
everybody.
get caught up on it.
Oh, it's very
A lot of
easy.
people, yeah, it's so
But I
easy.
mean, but never forget. You know, your path is your path, right?
Yeah,
And you know, Pup's path is Pup. Yours is yours. But
definitely.
you know, Christina's. Everybody's got their own path. You know, Tina's is Tina's. But if
Yeah,
you all stay on your own path, and all your paths are going down the same trail,
yeah,
you got a very good group, right?
mhm,
It's when you're trying to put your four paths into one path, you can't do that,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
that's going to screw everything up. Each of you
yeah,
have to have your own path, and you can walk beside each other, but stay on your own paths and work to the
yeah,
greater
definitely.
good of the whole path, right? And
Yeah.
that's basically the way to do it. So,
See, I think that the reason that we lost our path so quickly, if you like, a way back, what, a year or two ago, was because we were all at a stage, we just came out of lockdown and things, we were all searching for a belonging, somewhere to, even in lockdown, a lot of us were looking for somewhere to be heard and things. So I think through all of that, everybody was lost. And then when we came out of it and people were trying to find their direction again, we were just grasping at anything, like let's go into this group because this is taking us on this path. And really, when you sit back and you look at it, it was, if even though it wasn't the path I particularly wanted to go down at the time because I'm a ghost hunter, I went on it anyway, and I shouldn't have. I should have stayed true to who I was and stayed on my ghost hunting path and my witchcraft spirituality path, and that's my fault. That's on me, nobody else. You know.
yeah, but the good news is you got back to it. So that's what
Yeah,
matters, right?
and there's a
Yeah.
lesson.
Mhm. My path, my path was never my path, you know. My path was set
Yeah,
in stone long before I was here, you know. And
mm-hmm.
like so for me it started when I was 4.5. Instead of going to kindergarten like everybody else, I did that too, but instead of that, I had this side of the family saying, well, you gotta be a nature shaman and learn the nature shaman ways. And this side said, no, no, he's a nature druid. He has to learn the nature druid ways. Right. So I had no choice in the matter. So, but anyway, so the family was in big flux, right? Me, I said, well, I'll do both, right? That way
Yeah.
nobody gets upset and
Why not?
everybody will be fine. So as I'm learning and spending lots and lots of hours um, like people say, well, I didn't have many friends. I had lots of friends. I'd be playing
Mm,
with these
bet.
kids and stuff. Nobody else knew they were there. no one else saw them, but
Yeah, I
I
was about to
didn't
say
care.
that. I bet you had loads.
They,
Mm-hmm.
they, they were my buddies. We hung out.
Hi, Gothic.
I had a bunch of friends. I didn't care. But
Yeah.
as I was going, I had this one elder one time. I guess it was 3 or 4 years into it, I suppose. And he says, "Do you realize that you're on your own path?" And I said, "Yeah, pretty much." He said, "Well, no one has combined both things into one." He says, you take from this part what you like, and you take from that part what you like. And if they work together, you keep it. But if not, you ditch it, And he says, you seem to be
Hi, Audrey.
absorbing, you seem to be absorbing the stuff um, that works for you, right?
Yeah.
And he was surprised at my answer, but to me, it was just common sense. I said, well, why should I practice something or say I believe in something if I don't? I either
Yeah,
believe it or
exactly.
I don't, right? I'm either going to
Yeah.
believe it or I'm not. If I'm not going to believe it, I'm not going to bother with it or use it, right?
Yeah.
If it's something I believe in, I'm going to do my best to be the best at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely.
So on my on that spiritual side of my path, uh, everything was, what do I believe? You know,
Yeah.
what do I think is sacred to me? I don't give a
Yeah.
shit if it's sacred to someone else or not. It makes no difference to me. If
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
someone believes that a head of cabbage can bring you lots of money, then hey, guess what?
Hey, it
Have at her,
probably
pal.
will.
You know, have at her because it'll work.
Yep.
If
Yep.
someone believes it looks better in a
Come
salad
on,
dish, well,
Terry.
guess what? That's where it's going to be, is in the salad dish, right? So
Yeah.
my whole life has always been, if I believe it, I believe it. So it all becomes this faith, right?
Yeah.
Becomes my faith, right? So, and it all just depends. Like, to me, I don't care. There's something like 4,000 different religions.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
yeah, but
I knew there was a lot, but 4,000? Oh my goodness.
yeah. Well, there's over 900 different Bibles. So, but anyway,
Wow.
for me,
Thanks,
I
Gothic.
just, I just, whatever I believed, I believed. And it wasn't a
Yeah.
matter of having to learn to believe it, or whether or not it was plausible. It was, none of that bullshit mattered to me. Because I'm approaching this at a very young age, and it's like, do I believe this or not? Yes, I do. Okay, I'll take it with
Yeah.
me, right?
It takes a
Do I
while
believe
to
it?
understand what you believe in as well. It takes
Yeah,
a while
and
to truly get it.
so
Mhm.
for me, it was find out what I believe and learn about it as I progress, right? And try to get better and better at it,
Yeah.
and try to, and like, even going through all that, when I met Pastor Teal, who was a pastor at the Methodist Church. And I started doing a little bit of studying with him, and there was lots of stuff that I'm like, oh yeah, I can roll with that. So I also
Yeah.
became a non-denominational pastor. I became
Right.
an ordained minister along the way. You know, with my
Wow.
nature druid and my nature shaman, right?
Yeah.
So I got these three different religions, right? That for me, it's all one, right? It's not three
Yeah.
different
It
religions.
is.
It's my religion. It's my
Yeah.
faith. It's what I believe. And if someone
Yeah.
else doesn't believe it, I don't give a shit.
And
This
it
is my
doesn't
path.
matter anyway. Exactly.
It, do- it doesn't
It's your
matter.
path.
It's my path, right?
Yeah.
And I think the main thing, whatever path you're on, okay, believe what you believe, and don't don't pretend what you believe. Like
Yeah.
I've gone to, you can go to a church and you can put 10 people in 10 different pews, right? And on a piece of paper, write down, do you believe this? You're going to get 10 different answers, right? Some of them will be similar and some of them will be way different, right?
Yeah.
Because you believe in a religion doesn't mean you're going to believe everything that's in there.
Hmm.
You believe a good portion of it, then fine, right? But nobody, and I don't care who you are, okay? And this, of course, is my opinion. If part of my culture or part of my religion said I had to believe this, right? You could put a gun to my head and I'm still not going to learn to believe it, right? If
Yeah.
you don't believe it, you don't believe it, period, right? If you do
Exactly.
believe in it, then that's fine, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think the main thing is for people to understand if you're on a journey and if you're on your path, it's gonna change, right? Your path will change a little
Yes.
bit, your journey will change a bit, your beliefs may stay always the same, but they may also grow, they may expand,
Yeah.
some of it might change here and there, right? It's still your path, right? You got to follow
Exactly.
your path, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of times you could be going along, and all of a sudden, what used to work isn't working no more, and you're like, well,
Hmm.
what the hell? It's not that it's
Yeah.
not working no more. It's you're gone beyond that point. So it's time to look at it and say, okay, so what did this morph into? Because
Yeah.
it's
That
still there.
happens a lot. Yes.
Yes, because it's still there. It's just morphed and you don't recognize it to what
Hmm.
it was because you've
Yeah.
grown so much, right?
See, that happens in spirituality a lot, and you think you're stuck. But it's just, I
Hmm.
think it's just that it's meant for you to pause and then
Right.
refocus on, right, okay, it's not like, okay, I'm in a rut. No, you're not in a rut. You have to sit down, you have to refocus your energy, have a rethink, because maybe your path's about to change, you know?
Your path could be changing, or you've done it for a long and you're so adapt to it that it's like I think of it like the first time you make bread, right?
Yeah.
You're very meticulous of how much flour you put in, how much yeast you put in, the temperature of the water. Do you put lard in? How much vinegar do you put in? And you got all this stuff. After you've made it 10 times, you slap this in the bowl, slap that in the bowl, toss this in the bowl, stir it up, and wait, right? You don't think about it
Yeah.
anymore. You don't do, and because by now you've done it, you've learned it, and now you're doing it your own way, right? You've added
Yes.
your own, you've added your
Your
own
own
little nicks
recipe.
and tweaks and stuff, right?
Yeah.
You've changed it, right? Because now it's yours, right? So if you look back and say, well, where's this part? Well, obviously you ditched it because it's not a part of your path anymore, right?
Hmm.
So to get worked up about it is not, there's no point to it. You know, you're going to change, your path's going to change.
Hmm.
All your bases will still always be there, but as you grow, they grow. As you morph, they morph because it has to still
Yeah.
be your path, right? So things will change according to how you change.
I can't remember if it was you that said it or not, that, or maybe it was mystical or somebody that said people are in your life for a season. And that really resonated with me because I thought that is so true. There's so many people come in and out your life that hardly anybody really stays unless it's your family or a really good connection or something that you've made. So that's so true, a saying. People are in your life for a season.
Yeah, for a season, for a reason, for a moment, you
Yeah.
know. People are in your life because at that point in time, they're supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Lessons learned. lessons learned, life given, stuff like that. But then they fade off. But in the meantime, three more people came in. So, you know, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And there will be, and there's your hive, right? Everyone has a hive, and certain people will always be in that hive, and certain people will always be around. But there's a lot of people that
Yeah.
don't live in the hive, right? They don't live there, so they won't always be there, obviously, right?
Exactly. Yeah. See, I think people are brought into your life as well by your guys to learn you a lesson. So even if you're not learning that lesson quick enough, they'll probably bring people in to learn you quicker. Things like that as well is a thing. I think a lot of the time as well, you don't realise the messages are there. Because I think I stayed closed off that long that I wasn't seeing the signs. And they probably were trying to tell me for years and I just wasn't recognising it. Sister Sherry, I'll take it to your messenger, sass. That's it in messenger. Anybody else want to come up for a wee half hour? We will be going off at an hour and a half, guys. We've got 45 minutes left if anybody wants to come up.
Yeah, someone else could come up because I'm going to be getting off pretty soon.
Yeah. So, Uncle Danny, then, a quick question for you, then, right? Through
Mhm.
all the tribulations of life that you're going to have up and down and things, is there one bit of advice that you would like to give anybody about that ups and downs of life, about how to cope with it? Because I know for me, I think the lesson that I would tell people is to just keep remembering it's not forever that you feel that way. Like when a relationship breaks up, that heartache's not forever. When you lose a job you really loved, you'll find another one. That type of thing I would give them advice about. It's not forever.
No, it's not forever. I mean, like I've had lots of different troubles, obviously, and lots of different horror stories and stuff like that. Of course, I mean, there's been lots of trials and tribulations in my life, obviously, and my health and the different things that's happened and everything
Yeah.
else. My The way I look at it is this: is life keeps going and life goes on. Well, guess what? So do I, right? You
Yeah.
can you can bow down and surrender, or you can say, horse shit, I'm going to keep going. I don't care what life throws at me. I really don't care. I'm in a wheelchair. Okay. Now I'm not in a wheelchair. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. If I say to myself, I'm going to do this, then I do it, period. Because life is going to keep going regardless. Okay.
Yeah.
No matter what happens. I lost a lot of people in my life. I don't have any friends left in my life from childhood, from teenage years, from my 20s, my 30s, or my 40s, or my 50s. They're all dead, right? I'm still here. I'm here for a reason,
Yeah.
right? Simple as. Okay. I've got a lot of new friends. I got a lot of other friends, stuff like that. But it does get you down. Like I look back and all my old guards, all the people I used to work with in the paranormal, even, right? They're all gone. No one's left but me,
Yeah.
right? So it's my duty to pass that on to the next group, the next families, right? Do I give up now? Is this a time for me to toss in the towel?
Yeah.
Or do I say screw that and I
Not
go
tossing
on?
the towel. No. Not tossing the
You
towel.
know?
Maybe teach others a
So
little few lessons, but not toss it in. Definitely
yeah,
not.
and so my simple advice is look at life is gonna go on, right? You know, the
Yeah.
devil didn't do that to you. God didn't do that to you. Life did that to you, right?
Yes.
Blaming somebody for shit that happens is pointless. Okay? Unless of course it was a bad spirit that actually did do something, but I digress. Life is life. Life goes on with or without you. Okay? So choose to say life goes on. Guess what? So do I. I don't care what happened to me. I'm
Yeah,
still
that's
going to
a
go forward,
good one.
right? I'm still moving forward. It might have got me down for a bit, but I ain't quitting. You know, I got to move with it, right? So, and that's what I would say. I would say
Yeah.
just realize, life is life. So you got two choices: lie down and die, or get up and walk, one or the other.
A lot of my female nieces and things, or friends that have advised their nieces, always tell them something that I have told them for years. And I don't know if you'll agree with this or not, Uncle Danny, saying as you are male, but through having a lot of male friends throughout my life and my brother and different partners and things, I've always said men do not grow up until they're over 30. That is when they stop needing their friends. That's when they stop thinking that they need to be in a pub every Saturday afternoon. It's always around the age of 30, maybe 33 to 35. Would you agree with that? You kind of that's when
Yeah,
they get to the I want to settle down and do my family kind of serious.
for the most part, yeah, I think, 25 to 30, a guy starts thinking about, maybe I should stow the shit, stuff like that, and try to be not me though, okay? Getting older is
Yeah.
mandatory, but I can be immature forever. Okay. I don't follow no one else's rules, right? But as a general rule,
Well, that's
as
it.
a,
Is it?
you
Don't
know,
follow these rules and you'll always be.
yeah, as a general rule, yeah,
Yeah,
most
Phoenix.
guys,
I like
most
that
guys
song.
start
Life
thinking
is life. Na, 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 na.
like most people start thinking,
Sorry, I'm
most
singing
guys that I
Phoenix's
know
song.
anyway, but it changes, right? Like when I was younger, 25, you're usually married off, and that's it by then, right? Between 20 and 25. And then it became
Yeah.
between 25 and 30. Now it's between 30 and 35. So I think it's a lot of it is
Yeah.
because the times change. Like nowadays, guys like to make sure they got a place, the place is in their name, they got a good job, they got money, they can support the family. There's a lot of that kind of process, right? When I
Yeah.
was younger,
What
when
stability?
I was younger,
Yeah.
it's, well, when I was younger, it was balls to the wall. Let's go. Hey, you want to get married? Sure, fine. Let's get married. We'll go build a lean-to somewhere and whatever. Like we'll just make do, right?
Yeah.
Because because that's what we did. We made do with what we had. Always has been that way, right? But as technology
Yeah.
increased, as
Yeah.
population increased, as the culture and society, it changes how each generation acts, right? So if you look through the generations,
Yeah.
um, my grandfather's day, you're married by your 16,
Yeah.
right? You're 16, you got a wife. By the time she's 18, you've got two kids. It's just so it just depends. Like through the years, it's
Yeah.
changed so much. But
Yeah. See, I think that my first relationship, I think that because I was with Thomas when I was 14 years old, and we kind of split up eventually when I was 30. So around that 10-year mark, I think, I believe that we became more like friends, more like roommates type of thing. So I think in a lot of relationships, you've got to be careful of that as well. Yes, certainly definitely be, share everything that you do and always be honest with each other and things. But if I was to give him the advice, I would say now, looking back, have your own little thing as well. Have your own little projects and have your own friends and do your own thing when you're so young. I mean, in a relationship, because I think that was a lot of my problem why I felt so isolated away back then. I felt as if I was on my own was because I didn't reach out and make friends. And I think these days, because of social media, and things like that. It's totally changed all that, which is a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, see,
Welcome in,
that's
Sister Sherry. So, what do you think about the subject? Sorry, Uncle Danny.
What do I think?
well. Just before I go, I just want to say,
Yeah, sure.
um, find your path and stick on your path. Okay, you two girls are a shining example. You know, the path changes
Thank you.
time to time.
Means a
Your
lot.
your your direction changes, but then you get back to the path. You get back to the grind. You figure your shit out. You know, sometimes you got to get kicked in the butt, but you get your shit figured out, and away you go again. And you keep being this
Yeah.
constant people following the path, right? Simple life.
Yeah.
Find your path that you want, right? You can't go on a path someone wants you to go on because you'll never be successful. Okay. Number two,
Exactly.
whatever life throws at you, and whatever it's thrown at me, you can piss and moan about it all you want, but it's not gonna change nothing. Okay? The only thing that can change it is
Yeah.
your mind, your positivity, your thoughts on what to do. Now, okay, I can't run a marathon, right? C'est la vie. But what can I do instead then? Well, I can take my damn crutches now and I can walk five
Debatable.
miles, right? I can walk 5 miles with my sticks now, right?
Exactly.
Why? Because I sat and moaned and bitched and complained and felt sorry for myself? Or I said, come on, dude, you're better than this. Get off your ass and on your
Mm-mm.
feet, right? And that's the thing.
Yeah,
Have
exactly.
enough have enough
You're a
faith
role
in
model for
yourself,
yourself.
have a faith in yourself to get up and do it. You might not succeed, you know. My granddaddy always said, if at first you don't succeed, you're running about average. Nobody succeeds at first, right? It takes time.
Well, that's
It
what you're
takes
saying, isn't it?
it's true. If at first you don't succeed, you're running about average. Don't kick yourself. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes endurance. And keep doing it because eventually something's going to click and you're going to get it done. Okay. So that's it for that. Everybody, thank you. Enjoyed
Yeah.
coming. We'll see you all next time. Pop, I'll see you on your show one of these days real soon. Love to
Okay,
you.
yeah. You definitely
Love
got
you,
to come up.
sweetheart.
I love you too.
All right. Love you
Thank you,
guys.
Uncle
Okay, everybody,
Danny.
I'll be in
Thank
chat.
you.
Bye. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Uncle
Love
Danny.
you.
Blessings. Bye-bye. Thank you.
That man's a true
Yeah.
inspiration.
So what do you think, sis, about the journey? Isn't he amazing? He's such an inspiration as well, Uncle Danny, because he has been through a lot in his life. I mean, he's been a veteran and everything. And he's such a role model for all of us, I think. And I think because, and it's not because I'm Scottish especially, but I think it's because Uncle Danny knows the way that Scottish people are with the judgment and the feeling small and things in a big world. I think he understands a lot of things about our journey, especially over here in the mystical lands.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you think, Sister Sherry? How do you feel about the journey itself?
For me, I think my journey's been crazy, to be honest, in a good way.
Yeah.
Like,
With
I've
the
gone through all the
falls, ups and
struggles and the
downs.
problems, but I've had to. I believe that I've had to go through that to keep being who I am. I've gone off the rails a couple of times and gone to places I shouldn't have gone and learnt my lesson.
Yeah.
And at the minute, I've always thought that I was open, guys. Yeah, but I am. I always have been. Yeah, but it's just recently I'm starting to really realise how open I am and how connected I am to the other side and all of this stuff, and
Yes.
that it goes back so many years. And like at the minute, it's really a lot of the dragons and stuff like that. They're really like communicating, and they're like you need to embrace who you are, and you're supposed to educate, and you're supposed to learn people, and now you're going to be channeling us and doing whatever. It's just like anything else you want me to do. They go, well, we'll tell you.
Play
We'll
the
tell you
drum
when we
and the
do all
tambourine at the
this.
same time.
And but it's exciting. It is exciting
It
because
is.
I've always loved dragons, and I've always been. I know I've always been connected to them, but just these last couple of months and these last couple of weeks, it's just been
See,
it's been crazy. You know?
I almost feel bad about having an excitement in my life right now because I know there's wars in the world and I know there's places struggling and things. But I also feel that there's a couple of us, and it's maybe not in a worldwide scale, like, oh yeah, I'm going to be the next inspiration, but I think there's got to be a couple of us that is a voice on these platforms just to reassure people that there is struggles in life and that you do get through them, guys, and it's hard. It's the hardest thing at the time. It really, really is. You feel as if your life is over when a
And
relationship breaks up and you'll never find anybody else. And
and a lot of people that have been in my shows and been in my groups for like years and years, they've always said that I've been the influencer and the person that gets everybody up and
yeah,
talks sense. And
that
I didn't want to be the only person on the platform along with Pups that done that, and we found all the rest of you. You know what I mean? And it is amazing.
exactly.
And we were supposed to meet, and I do believe that paths are supposed to meet for a reason. Like Pups says, some's only for a season, and some's for a lifetime. It really depends on what category you
Mm-hmm.
come together in. You know what I mean? Like we've gone
Yeah,
through pathways where we've swayed away from each other a little bit, but you know what? The divine always brings me and Sister Drew back to each other because we're not
yeah,
supposed to be apart. We're not supposed to be, and um,
exactly, guys. I
that
think
show
it's a
the other
crazy
day on
journey.
Mysticals was meant to happen because I do believe that they
Yeah,
are trying to reach out to you. They're trying to find it in another way, do it through me and talk to you. And I've done that show today. I don't know what they've said yet. I've got to go back
I
and
need to
watch it.
watch it.
But
I've not watched it yet. I need to watch it
uh,
after this. I just feel as if it's a tight. I mean, a star is coming up, guys, at the beginning of March, and a star really is about setting those stable things. Like when you plant a seed, for example, you're trusting that seed is planted and it's going to grow something. It's going to either
yeah,
make you look nice in your home or it's going to feed you, your family. I think the time is now for a lot of us years to find our identity, to find our path. I think time is now to start trusting that inner voice that's in you. And even though you maybe you think, well, no, I can't do it, I can't, do it anyway. Do the video, keep it on, private, and then maybe in a couple of months, even you'll feel confident to post it. But I think that a lot of us should right now remember that we are on a journey, and a lot of the time the journey's to be shared for a reason. And I think a lot of us, especially me, you, sister Sherry, Uncle Danny, all the ladies that's in the clan, I think it's the time for us to teach people what we've learned, what we've been through, why we went through it, and the reason behind it that I feel is it's just to guys do your best. Do your best in this life. Help people when you can. When you do
that's
get
important.
heartaches and
It is
things, remember
important.
it's a lesson and you do get strong. So it's
Helping and
I
being
don't
there
know,
for
it's just
others
simple.
is very important. Helping them,
Yeah,
inspiring, and just being somebody's like ear so that they can talk and things like that. I do
exactly.
believe in that a lot. Like I swayed away a lot, and everything I ever was gifted, I threw away because of other people for quite a while on it. I would not be
Yeah.
me, and coming back into it,
Mm.
yes, I'm not gonna lie. Like I crap myself every time I do it because I think, oh my god, what are they going to say to me? But it's got to that point now
I
where
know.
I'm like, screw you. I don't care what you think. I don't care if you believe me
Mm.
or you don't. I know me. I know what I can do, and I know the energies I work with. That's up to you if you want to believe me.
Yeah.
And you know, they've really been kicking me up the arse recently, like saying, like, Sherry, you know, the dragons and that would not have none of it the other day. When they told me I needed to make my video, I said, you are kidding me, right? You're going to want me to channel you on panel where everyone can see it. They go, no, you'll do the video and you'll put it out on
Yeah,
YouTube. I said, will I?
wow.
Will I put it out
That
on
was
YouTube? They
crazy.
go, yeah, you will, because you're working with us and everything, okay? And I thought, well, okay, I'll give it a go, but I don't know how it's going to go. And the amount of positive influences and feedback I got from
Exactly.
everyone saying, oh my God, you're back, Sherry. I really love that you're doing what you used to do. This is who you are.
Yep.
And, it's really made me feel good. And I'm glad that I did take that road, because it can be really difficult when people bring you down or try to make out that you're
Yeah.
not something that you are. And it can be difficult. And
Yeah.
that's the whole point of life, is that you're your own spirit and your own person, okay? And you follow your own path, your own way, okay? And there isn't
Yeah.
anyone in this world that can tell you what you are and what you're in, okay? You know that. Doesn't matter if people believe in you or people don't. What matters is the people that are most closest to you and support you every day, like you guys, for instance, and
Exactly.
the energies you work with. And I'm not here to please anybody. I'm here to educate for them. I'm here. I'm their
Exactly.
messenger. I
Live for
am their worker.
yourself.
I'm not anybody else's
Yeah.
worker. I'm their workers. Okay.
Yep.
And I've gone through many lifelines with these energies. Okay. And have very strong bond. It's, for me, it's not just doing the investigations and educating you guys. For me, it's so much more than that. It's protecting those energies that I've worked with for so many, many, many years, okay, and bringing them back to light, because so many people have hidden them. I'm not going to let you hide these energies anymore. They deserve to be out. They deserve to
Yeah.
give out what they want, because a lot of us are influenced and who we are because of them and their fights and their energies and the things that they've had to do. So we have so much to give out to them, and that's why we are here. And that, like, I say, okay, so I just found this path. They go, no, 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 you didn't find this path. You was chosen. You was chosen because you've been it so many times, Sherry. Like, you're not just something that's educated.
You're just realising that now.
And they're like, how long have you been doing this? You're 40 years
Because
old
it's
and you're
crazy
just
to us
picking
to
up
think
on
like
it.
that, though. Yeah. To
But it's
think that's
different.
crazy
It is
to us, though.
different.
That's
It's different
crazy.
to being
Yeah, I know.
sat at home behind four walls and doing it to yourself. It's so different when you're just on your own at home, and then suddenly you're doing it to hundreds and thousands of people, which is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
It's a
Yes,
completely different
exactly.
scenario. You know
But
what I
it
mean?
shows that they know it's time as well. For all we're sitting here trying to teach through the clan group and things, it shows that those energies on the other side know that as well now. They know that we are the people that they're going to trust with the message, if you like, to help push it out. The only way that and I've told you all this before, the only way I can ever help somebody is to give you my experience. That's why a lot of the
Yeah.
things that I sell in my shop as well is stuff that helps me, that I've made, because I can't do it any other way, you know?
But you can. You
How to
can
deal with
sis.
people. The way I deal with people in my small town, Kerry, is I just want them to ask me questions. If anybody wants to say anything to me, I say, listen, ask me questions. And if I don't give you the proper answers to believe me, then there's not much I can do.
Yeah, like, you're going to have people that are going to like you. You're going to have people that hate you. You're going to have people that believe in you. You're going to have people that don't believe in you. The simple fact is, it doesn't matter what other people think. It's what you believe in and who you are. Like, the amount of rigmarole and badness I've got on this platform because of who I am and what I do. And I've let people bring me down. And I've got to that point now where I'm like, who are you to bring down my spirituality? Who I am? And like, and that's why I'm doing this. I'm trying to help them, and I'm trying to show you guys to be you, yeah, and don't be scared to dive into your past and the things that you've been, because there's so much.
Exactly, you can only be yourself. So
there's so many gifts
you can only
waiting
be
for you.
yourself. So
It's like
why try and
Sister,
be
she can only
somebody else?
communicate through her experiences and the stuff she's gone through. But there's so much more to Sis. I know things about Sis because I've been told by certain energies. I'm not allowed to reveal it to her. She's got to find that out herself. You're much more than what you think you are, Sis.
No, I
You
know
need
that
to
already. Yeah, I know.
and connect with certain energies. I told you the other day you need to get to your dragon.
Exactly.
He'll show you. You'll be able to do this. You do it already. You already educate
Yeah.
and show people things. You're more valuable than you think you are. Okay. I'm
I
not going to
think
tell
it's
her.
the
Don't worry.
believing. I think it's okay. She's not going to tell me. I promise.
The woman's like, sorry.
I think it's the
It's all right, I'm not
believing.
going any further.
I've always had a problem in believing in myself. I think I've always had that. The lady that I was talking to today, her name was, what was it again? Amanda. I had a webinar call, and she really took time out of her day to talk to me. Amanda Davies. She's actually a big entrepreneur. So she called me for an hour, guys, and gave me loads of tips. But even she was saying it's small man syndrome or imposter syndrome I've got, where I feel as if I'm only playing a role right now and I'm not realising that this is my life. This is who I am. I'm not just doing this feeling like, I feel like as if I'm imposing in somebody else's life is what I'm trying to say. But I need to start believing that this is truly who I am and it's me that's doing this.
You're not imposing.
You know?
This is who you're supposed to be. This is what you're supposed to do.
Welcome in, Eli.
You know,
Yeah,
we're all chosen
and I
for
truly
different
do
reasons.
believe that.
And we've all been brought together for different reasons. Okay. Like, even though, like, but some people go, yeah, well, you're really educated on this and you're really good at that. I don't see myself any better than anybody else. I'm an equal to everybody else. We've all got our techniques and our ways. We're all good at different things. You know what I mean? That's what makes our community what it is. And in my opinion, Pups is the sole putty to that. Pups is the putty in the middle and everybody else is stuck to him, sort of thing. You know what I mean? He's the one, the energy that keeps it together, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
He's the one that makes us all. He's the one that kicks us up the butt. He's the one that kicks me up the butt anyway.
Yeah, me and Sister Drew, the last time we was on video called Pups, me and Sister Drew got told off and told to shut up and listen to what he was saying. We were putting ourselves down. He wasn't.
And we were told that we were pillars of this community to act
You're
like
pillars of this community.
That was my fault, guys.
Me and Drew were like,
but I did. But I honestly did. It was after that I did start thinking, right, okay, if I'm going to do this, and why did I react so bad? What was it that made me react like that? And I think it's because I put my trust in somebody else for my journey. I was relying on somebody else to take me in my journey, and that was my fault. You know? So I got so
you don't need anybody else to take you on your journey. You do your journey yourself, and I feel the same way. I think after that conversation with Pups and that kind of gave me the kick up to start doing my channeling and doing everything again as well. And I'll tell you, if you'd have seen me and Drew's face that night, we were like two little puppies getting told off.
No.
Sorry,
Uncle Danny's. We're definitely sending.
Rushed by ambulance. Oh my God. Pups, gonna put some candles on.
Wow. Want to put some candles on. Guys, I'm going to end the stream because I think that this needs to be like a concentrated thing more than us staying on the live stream right now for Uncle Danny's family. That's actually I didn't realise that was happening. Thank you for making me aware of that. Sis, I think it was actually Phoenix. Thank you for making me aware of that, Phoenix. I didn't even.
Danny's mum.
Yeah.
I think it needs to. I think that's going to be needing to be done off of the screen. It's going to need full attention.
It's going to be off screen. Yeah, it needs to be focused.
And stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
okay, guys, I'm going to end it there. What? Well, we're at an hour and 13 minutes anyway, guys, so we will be going anyway. But the message of today that I want to tell you all, guys, about the journey and things is have faith that this is your path. In the bad times when things happen that is really bad and you're heartbroken, and I know it's the hardest thing to do, but just remember there is a lesson there somewhere, and you will get over it. There will be a way out. Even if it's hard to see it. Okay?
There's always a way out. Stay positive.
Yep.
Always a way out. And please, everybody, please do your loves and blessings for Pup's mum, please, for Grandma.
Yeah. I'll probably go in the clan group anyway, guys. I'll be on WhatsApp, okay?
Yeah, we'll be in there.
Yeah, me as well, Phoenix. I'm going to go concentrate. Right, okay, guys, I'm going to end this.
I think Sister Christina's on tonight as well, isn't she? So don't forget to go over to Sister Christina's channel.
11.
Yeah.
Right, okay, guys, I'm going to end the stream so I can go concentrate on some prayers for Uncle Danny's mummy and that. So I will end the stream now. Thank you all for coming in and listening to my journey. And remember, you are on your journey. Find the purpose, okay? Bye-bye.
Yes.
Blessings, everybody. Stay strong.
Blessings.
It does get better. Bye-bye.